So welcome everyone to the webinar, 5 Money Mistakes Realtors Make. I'm Natalie Cousins, and today we are going to talk about how to avoid these mistakes and 5 mindset steps that will transform you, your business, and your income. Now, before we begin, if you would like to share this webinar with others in the industry or others that you feel will benefit from money mindset, you can go ahead and share the link. It's nataliecousins.com/5 money mistakes. Also, there will be a replay, technology actually permitting, which will be emailed to you. So you just go ahead again and share the link for this webinar, nataliecousins.com/5 money mistakes. Now, also, if you had pre-registered early on, you would have received the conceptualized financial worksheet for download. If you haven't received that yet, that's fine. Go ahead and request it via email now, info@nataliecousins.com, and we'll email that to you so that you can gain access to the actual worksheet. As well, you can post any questions that you may have. We'll be looking at questions and answers later, closer to the end of this webinar. We'll also tell you some things that we have coming up as well. All right. Now, for those of you who have attended many of my past webinars or seminars or courses, etc., you know that I am big on quotes and motivation and affirmations and things like that. So one of my favorite Buddhist quotes is, accept your past without regret, handle your present with confidence, and face your future without fear. And this quote is actually one that I revisit often. I also recommend it to students in my course, clients that I'm working with. And too many times we beat ourselves up for our past, and more importantly, our past mistakes, and we don't even realize that it's creating blockage in our present and our future blessings. My objective today is that you leave here knowing that your past does not detect your future, and you can progress and be successful and earn the money you truly desire if you proceed with positivity and confidence. All right, so let's dive right in, and let me tell you a little bit about who I am and what I do. So I am a business consultant. I'm originally from Calgary, Alberta, born and raised, and then I moved to Toronto, Canada in the 90s. Fast track to 1998. I got into architecture, realized that I didn't want to really focus on how buildings were constructed or designed buildings, so I then went into interior design. Best decision I could have ever made. I learned how to work with clients. I learned how to work under pressure, and actually being in architecture and the interior design program is what kind of led me into real estate, because my first opportunity to ever sell property would have been with a builder, and I actually got to wear 3 hats working for that builder. I did the structural changes, which is where the architecture came in. I did the sales of the units, so that's how I got to sell real estate. And then I also did their color selections, which led to interior design projects. So I did get the best of both worlds. I got to wear 3 hats in that company, and it really set me up for greatness. Fast forward to 2006, I became a mother for the first time, and I had my son. And while still working in the industry, I really had to find a way to be able to serve in the industry and be a mom. And so there is where my consultant hat and career was birthed. I started consulting in 2006, helping others in the industry start their own business, walking them through these steps and the systems that I created for my own business and having them implement them in theirs. Fast track to 2000 I want to say 11, I had the opportunity to go to the US and build some really dynamic companies who are strong and still surviving now. Some are nonprofits, real estate firms, real estate agents, etc. So let's talk a little bit about what I do. I'm dedicated and waking up every day helping real estate agents attract long-term clients in exchange for more sales, repeat business, and referrals, and putting more money into their bank account. Now, at a very early age, I always knew that I wanted to be successful. At 18, I would walk around telling everybody that I was going to be a millionaire at the age of 30. Now, that being said, I made lots of money, but then I lost lots of money, and then I made lots of money, and then I lost lots of money. Now, what was missing from my early success was a plan, consistent marketing, and mindset. More importantly, positive mindset, which is what a lot of us are missing today. So I had to press the pause button at one point in my career and come back full force, and I had to figure out how to change my thoughts. And so I had to do mind reframing, working with a mindset coach, and I had to really dive back in and focus on things that I needed to do to get back strong in my business. So that being said, I was juggling all of my personal life and my business life at the same time. I was also a mom, but I was able to get back focused. I had a strong why, and I had to get focused and get back to what I love. So I wake up every day now teaching, educating. I'm a licensed real estate agent. I've got my consulting business. I still dabble a little bit in home staging for my properties and things like that. So I want to be able to show you today that it's important to be in alignment with your mind, as well as your goals, and as well as your plans. And in my 90-day transformation blueprint program, we focus on the mindset in the beginning of the program, and we focus on the systemization and the processes for implementation at the end. So enough about me. Let's just dive right in as to what the 5 money mistakes are, and let's just dive in on how we can avoid these and what we can do to change them. So whether or not you're new to the real estate industry or you've been in business for a while, the fact is that you're here, and you already know that you need to take steps to transform your business as well as your income. And you may be in love with your business, but it's not bringing in the sort of income that you optimistically anticipated. And worse, maybe you're barely getting by, or your significant other is gripping or arguing about how much time it takes and the poor returns that it seems to bring. So you're not having the best of luck with mindset right now because of all the negativity around you and what you're thinking. These are common scenarios among the real estate professionals' daily lives, and it doesn't matter if you're new or seasoned. Let's just put it that way. There are a lot of things that stop money flow, but here's the thing. There's absolutely no need for you to deprive yourself while building your business, and in fact, that's counterproductive. And what's worse, you may even feel bad if you're not thriving in your business, and you feel caught in the proverbial catch-22, where the harder you work, the more that you spin your financial wheels, and it's actually driving you crazy. So you feel stuck, and that's exactly why we're here. So we're going to take a look at the 5 simple money mindset steps that you can take to get the ball rolling again and break that cycle. So we're going to dive right in, and we're going to talk about the first mistakes that realtors or real estate professionals make. Is number 1 is that they have a bad money belief system. And so we want to be able to challenge your money belief system. Everybody has a belief system, okay? For example, let's look at religion, right? We can equate the belief system to religion, right? You probably put a name to your own personal religious system, even if that happens to be that you pray 10 times a day or you meditate in the morning, whatever it is. When it comes to religion, most people know what they believe. But the amazing thing about finance is that most people take their money belief systems for granted and don't even question it, right? So it's almost as if it becomes natural. So when you first planned or set up your real estate business, did you stop and think about your money belief system and how it was going to affect your ability to reach your financial goals? That's like the main question here, okay? And so if you're starting to scratch your head and you can't exactly answer that, then we have a problem. So do you make specific financial goals? Do you know how much that you have to spend on your business and how much you need to make and how much you want to make? And if you answered no, the important thing right now is it's time to revisit what you believe about money. And if you answered yes, but you're frustrated because you're nowhere where you thought that you would be financially, that goes for you as well. So we want to take a look at common money beliefs that trip people up every day, as well as common money mistakes. See how well you can actually answer the following questions. And I'm going to include some multiple choice answers to help you get going and stretch those money muscles. So let's look at the question. So what do you believe about getting rich? All right. So check off whichever one applies to you. Is it that it happens to others? It's immoral. The universe can supply enough for everyone, or that you can't wait to be rich. Okay, so that's one question. And how are you answering that, right? Which of the following describes your internal desire level? Okay, so is it that you never seem to have enough? The universe hates me. If I get money, something bad happens to take it away. It's amazing how I just get by with enough to meet my basic needs, but not a penny left over. I feel like a fraud, so I don't charge what others charge for the same services. I'm ready to step up and make enough money to reach my goals and have some left over to help others with. All right, these are all good questions, and it's going to all make sense in a moment once we dissect it. Which of these statements feels most true to you or for you? Money is the root of all evil. Money is something that other people have. Money isn't important. Helping others is all I really care about. Money is something I make easily, but I never seem to have enough for my needs. Money is usually the last thing I think about until I need to pay a bill. Money is a game to me, not a goal. Money is a powerful tool that helps me through life, or money allows me to help people, including myself. So just pause and think about these questions and think about what's coming up in your mind and what's happening. And I want you to know that before you ever plan to earn a dime, sit down and really think about your financial belief system. And in addition to answering the previous questions for yourself, which you'll find in the Conceptualized Financial Worksheet that you downloaded, write down all the common mantras you find yourself using. Whether you think of money, for example, as money is the root of all evil, or I'm not as good, so I can't charge as much as these other agents are charging in terms of commission, or I'm new, so I need to have a discounted commission. It's like facing the boogeyman. Okay, so when you sit down and really look at a boogeyman, you almost inevitably realize you've made him bigger than he needs to be and giving him so much or too much power. And what's more, you realize that he's just a boogeyman and that he doesn't even exist, right? That's when like reality hits you and it's like, oh my God, he doesn't really exist. So it's the same way money beliefs buried deep into your subconscious mind. And these are usually so deep that they go way back, maybe even as far back as to childhood. And often these beliefs are not even yours. They're beliefs you inherited from parents and grandparents. So a good example of that would be like when I was a kid, I was told to save money, but I was never taught how to save it. So it was like I just knew that you saved money, and then at a certain time I ended up using it. Another thing that I looked back at my childhood was growing up, I was always afraid to ask my dad for money for like school trips and etc. So I would always go to my mother, right? The school would say, take this home to your mother. 9 times out of 10, it was take it home to your mom. Not take it home to your parents, but take it home to your mother. So as an adult, if I was ever in need of money, I would never go to my dad. I'd just always go to my mom. And then my mom would ask my dad. And so even as I grew older into my adult life, and as I made lots of money and then lost it all, and then made money and then lost it all again, I learned that it was not bad luck and it wasn't anyone's fault. It was just my mindset and my past experience that I held on to that had my mind poisoned or positioned in a certain way. And these deeply ingrained beliefs and mantras that we aren't even aware of, but we repeat to ourselves over and over again, are types of money beliefs, and it's especially hard to transform or to get rid of. And sometimes we need to either get coaching, counseling, we might need to even work with a consultant or even a therapist just to get past the childhood stuff. But very, very often it's just a simple matter of looking at what we deeply believe and asking oneself if it's a valid belief and if that statement is actually true. Okay, so it's just having a conversation with yourself. And I'm willing to bet that if you complete the conceptualized financial worksheet that was sent to you, answering its questions and examining your frequently repeated money mantras, you won't need an expert to tell you which of these answers are true or valid and which are negative and self-defeating. So you need to trust your own intuition, trust your skills and your experience, and the more powerful and the more capable you are of generating the income that you want, it's because you're now more powerful in thinking that you can. So you want to start by making a commitment, throw out negative money beliefs, and replace those harmful, untrue mantras with positive new ones. Again, you can download the worksheet by going to the email that I sent you, or you can email me to get a copy of it and take it from there. So now we want to look at step 2. You want to change your money mindset from rigid to flexible. And if you have tried to change your money beliefs and experienced nothing but resistance from your subconscious, the most likely cause is a rigid, inflexible mindset. And that's something that you consciously decided, right? It's just as if you've developed and embraced one way of handling finances, and you've done it that way for so many years that it's hard to try to step sideways and try to do something else. Or maybe you worked with an accountant and they told you handle things this way. So think of it just like the runner who runs the same path every day. And I like to refer to like Usain Bolt, right? He's very good at 100-meter dash. There's times that he does relay, and there's times that he does 400-meter. So you imagine all his life as a professional runner, he has done 100-meter. And then all of a sudden, to challenge himself or to up his game, he decides he's now going to do relay. Well, it's a totally different thing that he's been doing all these years. He's used to running 100-meter dash and calling it a day, right? So as he starts to do the cross country or the relay or the 400 race, the first thing he looks at is that the grass gets worn down. Then there's nothing but a thin ribbon made of bare mud where the runner's feet pass daily. The grooves get worn out into the mud, and it becomes harder and harder to vary that path, right? So he needs to make a conscious effort to leap out of what he's used to, right? And now start to do something different. And so when we think about that, this is exactly what happens to our minds when we repeat the same thought over and over and over again, or perform the same action the same way. So psychologists explain this by saying that we have hardwired patterns in our brain, and it takes tremendous effort, consciousness, and commitment, along with daily repetitions, to break that and create new patterns. So I always say to my clients, it takes 21 days to break a habit or to embed a new habit. So how this manifests when it comes to money habits and beliefs, you find just that it's so negative that you just can't get past it. And self-defeating mantras, even though your conscious mind totally sees that it's faulty and ineffective, childhood mantras are particularly hard to transform because they're really ingrained and impressed into your physique, right? So any good psychologist is going to tell you it's never a question of being stuck between a rock and a hard place. It's a question of looking for alternative exits that consist of neither and making the conscious decision to try them. So it's leaving the easy path and trailblazing new ones. Sometimes it's exciting to do new things exactly as you pictured it in your mind, but sometimes it's frightening or even just a nuisance to remember to try. So I also equate that to baking, right? Like to perfect the recipe and the ingredients and all of that. The first time it might not come out right, but the second or third time that you try it, it ends up being better, right? So you just got to keep practicing till you perfect it. So it's not a question of jumping out the frying pan into the fire. It's a question of not stepping into the frying pan the next time someone holds it out in front of you. So in other words, it's not just about changing your money beliefs. It's about changing your responses to the money matters and decisions. Doing this consciously, noting the results, and repeating the new actions, the mantras, or the habits until they become your normal, your new normal, I should say. So 21 days, let's try that. So we got to figure out how you're going to particularly break that cycle and how you're going to focus on your goals and focus on where it is that you need to be. And it's quite the work, but it's something that you got to do in order to be strong. So we look at step 3, where we talk about correcting the 5 most common money mistakes. And there are 5 certain money mistakes that's happening to new and struggling real estate agents every single day that they seem to make over and over again. And I want to kind of dissect them so that you are more aware and it's spelt out. So the most commonly and surprisingly simple mistakes that are made, the first one is not creating a separate bank account for your business. Mucho importante. Very, very important, right? So if you have a business and you've set it up as a limited liability company, or in Canada, we talk about incorporated, then you legally have to separate the bank account. Okay. And you're saying to yourself, okay, well, why? So if any business loans were involved, you found out quickly enough that that's what you needed to do. You need to also provide proof of registration as a limited liability or a corporation in order to set up that account. So, which is why you need to set it up separately, and then you either need your tax ID or your business registration number to be able to open up that bank account. So where people get caught, however, is in sole proprietorship, right? Because we know with incorporations, it's a must that you have it separated. So if there's no business loan involved, it's easy to mix the business and personal finances into a single account, and it's not advisable. So my suggestion is, whether or not you're sole proprietor or not, and you're in the real estate business and you know that you're starting this as an actual business to be able to track business expenses, I would say to you, stop using your personal account and open up a second checking account dedicated to your business. Don't write personal checks or interact out of that account for personal expenses. Instead, write yourself a paycheck, cash it, and do it for all your personal spending. So when you go to look at your expenses, which we'll get to next, is you just split up what's personal expenses and what's business, and only pay the business from the business account. So Then what ends up happening is the second mistake is not budgeting or tracking expenses. All right. Another surprising mistake that many realtors make is not tracking their expenses. Usually the reason for this is that you're so focused on tackling, working the business, getting buyers, getting listings, and following your particular goals for the quarter or for the year, that the tracking falls by the wayside. But there's a real downside to this, and it's just so easy to cut profits by overspending, making mistakes, or not even having a marketing budget. So when you look at it and you don't track it carefully, you find yourself in a deficit, right? Some of us, we spend so much money doing other things. Somebody's going to come up with a new product for real estate agents, or a new way to do your listing appointments, or a new way to do this, or a new way to do that. And those all cost money. And before you know it, your credit card's maxed. So you need to know how much you need to make every month in order to meet your goals, but also you need to know how much you have to spend. And so I say to my clients, if you want to make $75,000 this year, if you want to make $150,000 or $200,000, what's your expenses? And usually when I say to them, what's your income for last year, we usually want to double it for this year. But again, what are your expenses, to know if that will work for you? All right. So only when you know both can you hope to start strategizing your financial goals efficiently and correctly. All right. Key player here. The third mistake that realtors make is doing it all by yourself. This is a common mistake that we make. This is where the burnout and the overwhelm comes in. And while it's a good thing to have strong grasp of where you are financially, and even better thing to do is record and track your finances daily, it's a mistake to isolate yourself in financial decisions that you make. Talking to an accountant or a business advisor or consultant should be the first step. And note one for down the road is you need to know what categories to create, so you'll know which receipts to save and what expenses you can claim, right? So a bookkeeper is a great asset. Finding one that specializes in real estate is going to be even better for you. And ideally, a bookkeeper prepares your financial records for your accountant, who makes the financial tax preparation. So you need both. But once in a blue moon, you're going to find that a bookkeeper who's able to do your taxes and either enter them electronically and save you some serious money. So just shop around. A great bookkeeper is normally going to tell you this on their website, so you don't have to go digging or fishing for information. And it's also wise. It's also a wise strategy to hire a business consultant for yourself, so you can discuss your business matters and where you see the future of your business and what training you can get. So even if you can't afford ongoing sessions with a consultant or a coach or an advisor, you can usually always arrange for a one-time consultation to ask all the questions that you need. And this can be, in the long run, a real money-saving, mistake-avoiding option. And many coaches, such as myself, offer that free one-on-one coaching session, discovery session, or strategy session. So always take advantage of that. Okay. So let's look at number 4. So not realizing the relationship between cause and effect is another harmful decision to figure out what's happening and what's going on in your business, right? So here's a particular mistake that usually manifests financially. You have a dream, you want to purchase a multi-dwelling unit, and you want to rent it out, and you also want to buy 3 homes per year, reno them, flip them for profit. You've been very specific. You created a vision board which contains photos of the type of multi-dwelling units you want and the houses you'd like to flip, and that you want in the location you love, and the type of houses you're going to build on those land spaces. You've added other things to your vision boards to help inspire you. Meanwhile, in your mind, you wish you had enough money, and at the end of the month, you barely can afford a night out at the movies. Are you likely to achieve those dreams of that multi-dwelling unit, flipping 3 properties a year, building custom homes? No. No. And the reason being is there's a huge disconnect between what you are doing now every day and what you need to be doing to get there. So in reality, you repeat the same old actions, you're charging the same old commissions, you're selling in the same house brackets, you're not upping your game there day after day after day. And at the end of each month, there you are again, wishing you had enough money left over to go to the movies. So what I call this is dreaming, but I specifically break it down to little kid dreaming because it's not about as much relation to reality as how you would relate it to a 9-year-old. They're finding themselves wanting to do silly things like be a Power Ranger or be Superman, and that's exactly what you're doing. It's not going to happen, and it's just fiction. It's fun, it's a wonderful daydream, but it's fiction. So what you need to do is specifically identify your main goal, okay? Top priority, and then you need to analyze where you are now. And once you analyze where you are now and you've identified your main goal, then you need to analyze specifically where you would like to be. So at the end of your journey, when you've achieved your big dream, next month, in 6 months, a year, or 5 years, heck, I'm on a 10-year plan because that's when my kids will be going off to university. So then once I'm there and I know where I'm going, right, then I need to decide on what I'm doing now that's going to move me forward toward my goals. So towards both the little steps and the big goals, right? And then I need to figure out what I need to do. What do I need to drop? What do I need to do differently, right? These are common conversations that we need to be having with ourselves, not with anyone else, ourselves, right? Then we need to figure out one rewarding thing that we would like to achieve in our business or income by the end of next month, by the end of 6 months, by the end of the year, and by the end of 5 years. And then you figure out what the specific steps are that you need to take to achieve each milestone and mini goal. Make a plan, make a commitment, and start following it and sticking to it, because that's the main thing, is no one follows it. And if you're not following it, then you're not sticking to it, right? So that's the way to propel yourself towards any goal. That and being financially specific. It's not enough to say, I want to buy a 2018 Mercedes-Benz by next September. What you need to say is, I have to save up $25,000 to buy that 2018 Mercedes-Benz by next September 1st. Okay, so it's what New Zealand celebrity coach Jodie says, and she calls it living by design, right? And so when you're living by design, you just you design the life that you want, and then you're taking it step by step. All right, but then the fifth way that we're making mistakes as agents is we're undercharging clients or underpaying ourselves. So for instance, I like to stage every property, but I've had some agents say, I don't believe in staging, it doesn't work. I noticed that in some neighborhoods, some agents lower their commission way lower than what the going commission rate is, sometimes to even 1% just to get the listing. And I'm like, so you want the buyer's agent to make more than you? Yeah, the buyer's agent had to show the property a couple of times, or show the buyer many different properties. But what about your expenses as a listing agent? I wouldn't want to make 1% on any priced home, right? So this is the final mistake. It's a biggie because it affects realtors in particular. And it's all tied in with your life experiences and your desire level. Desire levels have nothing to do with what a person is worth. Instead, deserve levels have everything to do with what people think, what they think they're worth. So you've seen the examples of, you know, what baby wants, baby gets. So it's like somebody's in a relationship and they don't work, possibly the spouse provides everything, and nowadays that's in both sides of the relationship. It's not a woman thing or a man thing, it's just a relationship thing. So that's what you call stunning high level desire levels in its merit, right? At the moment that the person or the whoever is in the relationship has the mantras, it doesn't convince you that it's cute or it's lovable or it's irresistible, right? So this person's in this relationship, they get what they want, they run through the catalogs of things that they want in their life, and they're getting it all. Why are they getting it all? Because they have high deserve levels. Absolutely beliefs that the belief system is high. She's meant to get everything, and she reinforces it 100%, right? He's in the relationship. He knows what he wants from his wife. He gets it. He knows what he wants from the girlfriend. She knows what she wants from the husband. It's like a magic trick and has nothing to do with whether or not it's the type of person. It's really the deserving level that that individual is demanding. So it's not logical, right? Well, it's the same thing that many of us as real estate agents do, but we do it in reverse. If you consistently find yourself undercharging or you're selling more houses, but you're not upping the bracket of the houses that you're selling, but you're making the same money, you're getting more clients, but you still feel stuck, it's because you're at entry level. You haven't elevated yourself. So you close more deals, you're not making more money. Why is that? Why is that? So instead of my first year in real estate, I sold maybe 100K to 300K, and I did very good for myself. Next year, I'm still selling 100K to 300K. I've gained more clients, but I haven't necessarily gained any money. What if I upped my bracket every year? In the first year, 300,000. Second year, 400,000. Third year, 500,000. By the fifth year, I should be $500,000 to $1 million up, right? So we got to be able to get a big clue that we're suffering from abnormal low desire levels. And if you find yourself feeling like a fraud, that's not a name. It's called an imposter syndrome. And it occurs when you're conned into thinking that you ought to feel as perfect as your own icons and your own ideas and ideals seems to feel. So you got to be able to set yourself apart and say, I am worth charging more, and start charging more, start looking at listing higher end properties to gain more money. Okay? So let's talk about negative tapes. The number 4 mistake is negative tapes. Okay? So we talked about, how we look at the 4 ways of the common money mistakes. Now we're going to talk about changing negative tapes. Okay? Undercharging can also come out of unrecognized negative mantras, the leftovers of old money beliefs that no longer serve you and are most likely not even valid. Okay? So, for example, the thought that I'm a newbie can instantly create low deserve levels when it comes to setting up commission prices, picking the house brackets that you want to sell. And that's important to change that repetitive negative tape or thought and replace it with ones that are more realistic and more positive. So when I first started in the real estate industry, I was with a builder. I didn't need to look for the buyers. The buyers came to the builder. I just was there 9 to 5. Fast track to when I got my license and actually started selling. I actually got my license in a city that I knew nothing about. I wasn't from there. I just knew that I just needed the money. I needed to sell. And so that, saying that to say that when I went to set up my profile, when I went to do everything, I didn't set up my profile as if I didn't know what the heck it was that I was doing, or I didn't know anything about the city. I actually sat down and wrote down all the positive things that would set me apart from every buyer's agent in the city, and why the person calling from the lead system would want to work with me. And they would never know that I was new if I didn't tell them that, right? So then when it came to setting up for the house prices that I wanted, you know, I didn't start with 60 or 70 or $100,000 homes. I actually sold 250 and up in my first 3 months of real estate, and I sold and closed 6 deals based off my mindset, right? And based off my grind and my hustle. I knew I needed the money. I knew I needed to feed my kids. So you got to change your negative tapes, and let's dive into what that consists of, right? So psychologists use this to help go back to, like, I would say, what year, like in the 1960s maybe. But it's the terminology was called changing the tape. And back in the days when people used this recording machine with actual tape, which they now call reframing, reframing refers to taking a negative thought and belief and transforming it into a more realistic, healthy, and positive thought, one that inspires actions rather than depression. Oh my God, let me read that again, guys. Psychologists use this, and they used to call it changing the tape back in the days when people used recording machines with actual tape, and what they now call reframing. Reframing refers to taking a negative thought and belief and transforming it into a more realistic, healthy, and positive thought, one that inspires action rather than depression. This is very serious, guys. So let's take it one step further. Here's a little mental trick you can apply every time you catch yourself identifying a negative tape. Name that old tape thought, take emotion out of it, and describe the situation realistically. Change the message into a positive, reality-based message. So, for those of you that are saying that you are a newbie and you can't charge big bucks yet, the reality is you are capable of providing what is needed, but people just don't know you yet. And you reframe that thought with positive, saying, I deserve to charge what my services are worth as much as any other expert in my field. So let's put that into the real estate mind. I am a newbie and I can't sell $500,000 homes. That's the old tape. The reality is I'm capable of providing a list with homes that fit your budget, but let me check your area of interest to see what's available. That's the reality, right? And then you reframe it by saying, I deserve to work with buyers or sellers that want to work with me just as much as any agent in my field, right? So it's not a matter of newbie, old bee, who's seasoned or not. One final tape you must change before you can start achieving bigger financial life goals is the tape that identifies change as fear. So ask anyone that's been in the Olympics if they ever get nervous before a race. Ask any stage actress if they ever get nervous before a performance, and the answer will be most likely yes. Okay? And why is it? It's that top performers don't feel fair, right? It's not that they don't feel fair, sorry. It's that they do feel fair, and they have adequate fare with living and being alive and with excitement. And so there's a book that I read by Jody, and it's her 2015 book. It's called Lady Balls. And basically, we all know that the most rewarding thing yet to be done in life gives us two feelings, excitement and fear, okay? And at the end of the day, consciously changing your old tape From fair responses to excitement consciously changes your old tape that identifies your glass as half empty to now my glass is half full. And once you can transform that, do this for any old tape that holds you back or keeps you stuck at the same income level or that gives you the doomed feeling. Thoughts such as others become superstars but just not me, change that tape. Okay? You got to be able to change it. The most important step that you need to take, however, is to faithfully follow the tape busting sequence we just discussed. And every time you catch yourself running one of those old tapes and all of the above, don't miss the second step, transforming the negative thought into a reality-based statement. And without that specific step, your new reframed thoughts is likely to be over optimistic or it's just going to be killed. All right. And what's worse is you won't be able to believe the new thought without a firm grasp of the reality behind both the old and the new. Okay. So you've got to reprogram yourself. The main thing that we need to look at here is that the reality step is what grounds the new reframed affirmation and gives it the sort of emotional weight that we normally would get stuck with. All right. So number 5, we got to find a goal that transforms and inspires us. This is so important. So important. All right. You want to find a goal that's going to light you up like a Christmas tree. We all know that feeling of when you're putting the Christmas tree up. And you got to find a goal that obsesses you, possesses you, and all the above inspires you. Okay. Something that makes it hard for you to go and set it aside before you go to bed. Like you want to work on it all the time. It's something that makes you eager to wake up and bounce out of bed again in the morning and work towards it. And you want to make sure that it feels as if every morning is the first day of a dream vacation as you are playing it out and it doesn't feel like work. Okay? Not weighing you down, not making you feel like, oh God, I got to wake up and do this. Now, the reality is that no matter how much one loves vacation, every day is simply not like that. There's going to be boring tasks to take care of. There's going to be difficult moments to face. There's going to be hard decisions to make and days when routines feel stressful rather than empowering. But there are ways to minimize these and revitalize your business. And if your passion is something that you want to work at, that's huge on so many accounts, research has proven that when you believe in what you are doing on a deep emotional level, we do more, we achieve more, and we work harder and enjoy it more as we are on our way to our goal. So if you don't have that goal that transforms you and makes you committed to your own success so you can reach the goal, find a way to tailor your current life towards that. It's very important because you don't want to be in a coma and just stuck, right? So that being said, people don't want to make commitments to things that don't inspire them, right? It's as simple as that. And some may think that they do it and firmly mean to do so, but in fact, if somebody hates what they're doing or doesn't believe in it, or it bores them before they even start, it won't be long before they find ways to procrastinate, avoid the related tasks that are related to the goal. They may distract themselves, and then new resolutions fall right by the wayside, and it just causes issues. And in extreme cases, people have been known to make themselves ill, not even realizing that they're doing so or having breakdowns. That was commonly something that had to be pointed out for me to be able to talk about that today. So, when you look back at the girlfriend or the wife who gets whatever they want and whatever inspires her, you better believe that if that person wants to be on TV, they're going to make steps to make it happen. If they want to win whatever's being offered, a trip, a husband, a wife, a huge sum of money, he or she knows how to single-mindedly pour out all the efforts towards that goal. And that's what you need to do in your business and in your life, right? You got to do what it takes to get there. If you have to diet to be eligible to win that money or that date, you're going to do it. You're going to exercise religiously in spite of hating the exercise. You're going to spend fortunes on the top hairstylists and makeup artists to get you the look that you believe is going to make you win. So the moral of it is, if you believe something strongly enough, you'll do the yucky parts that would normally be avoided. And when you get to the habit of investing in action, you'll only move forward and you'll create momentum. It's kind of like running downhill. Uphill is always hardest. Going down is always easiest, right? And then you have to figure out the speed to make it smooth, and then you gather the speed so you have the focus and the concentration and the control in reaching to the finish line. All right, so it's simple enough. Now, the momentum that it takes, or what it takes to make the money mindset and the business habits easier and easier to practice every time you repeat it, it's a habit or a mantra or an action, right? And a lot of people don't want to do the action part of the business, right? And that's where people get stuck often, is they don't realize that it's hard at first to break a pattern or change a habit. But the truth is, every time you repeat that particular mantra or habit, it becomes easier and easier, and it naturally is self-reinforcing. There's also another and even better side effect of breaking out old, comfortable but negative patterns. You start to experience success, and success builds confidence, right? So the truth is that although there are steps that you can and should take to deal with old negative patterns, it's not really about fixing your self-confidence first, right? Then you got to succeed at something, and it's about taking action, okay? It's about making a commitment that helps you to step out of your comfort zone, get your teeth whitened, and performing the action and surprising yourself with success, right? Smile, I'm on camera. Smile, I'm the best real estate agent. Because success breeds confidence. And it's not the shallow self-confidence of repeating something or saying it like I'm worth it type affirmation. It's the confidence of knowing you can do something again because you did it before. It's the confidence of seeing a good result from your action. And you are more likely to make that commitment and take that action if you have a goal that drives you, inspires you, and ignites you, and something that you can't stop dreaming about or envisioning. So just remember the specifics about the financial part. When you make the goal reaching plan, you got to make sure that you're focused. Now, it's so hard because we have to go over the 5 money mindset steps and summarize them just as we covered them. So the first one is challenge your money belief system. The second one is changing your mindset from rigid to flexible. The third is correct the 5 most common money mistakes that we talked about. And number 4 is change the negative tapes. And 5 is find the goal that transforms and inspires you. And what I can say is that once you go over these 5 and you reevaluate them and you comb through them and you work with them accordingly, you'll see results, okay? It's important that you understand that. And while I say to you this, I cannot guarantee you a house on an island, but I do guarantee that if you make the commitment to do this, and tackle each of these 5 steps to the best of your ability, you will see positive changes begin to happen very quickly. And if you give the changes a fair chance and perseverance, you're going to see it work, okay? So I'm going to start taking some questions, but first let me tell you about the masterclass that will really help you take off and soar when it comes to creating powerful mindsets. It's a 4-part training program complete with an action plan that you can implement at the end of each lesson, as well as exercises and worksheets to help you redefine your plan. And it's called Mastering Your Money Mindset. Okay, guys? And once you've mastered your mindset and you know exactly where it is that you are going, you'll be able to take the 5 steps of changing your money belief system, changing your mindset from rigid to flexible, correct the 5 mistakes that we're making as agents in the real estate industry, and change those negative tapes to find a goal that transforms and inspires you. And so what it is classes start weekly on a Monday. It's a 4-part series. So if you start on any Monday, it's 4 weeks from that Monday. You log in online and you are on an online classroom platform with me. And so it's taught via video and online. And what it basically is this masterclass is specifically designed for you if you're a real estate agent who's feeling burnt out or overwhelmed, you're not seeing the money in your business, you want to be able to have an audience and repeat business, but you're blocked right now because you're not making the money. You feel as if you've tried everything and you're still stuck outside your dream. You feel as if your financial success is not for you and it's for other people. You secretly fear that you're never going to achieve success, and you want to change your money story and start making more money. Okay, this is ideally who this program is for. People who want to be able to see specifically a change in their financial situation and are ready to make the commitment. All right, so let's dive right in and talk about mastering your money mindset. Okay, this masterclass is going to help you take action, changing your self-defeating money story to one that you can finally believe in and be excited about. And you're going to learn realistically how to assess your time and what it's worth and how to best use it, all while putting into action specific strategies that suit your unique personality to be able to gain money. And you'll do this in the most focused and painless way. So normally I teach these lessons one-on-one for $397. I decided to open it up to agents more on a group level, so it's more helping you to see that you're not alone in this struggle, and that if there are others out there who would like to change their money mindset and start making more money. So effectively, I used to have it also at $197 for the group program. But since we are focused on this month's focus is Your Success is My Business, I've gone ahead and I've lowered it to $97. So you're going to go ahead and register at nataliecousins.com/mymm. All right. Now let's dive into what's actually covered for the $97 investment in this 4-part series. So in part 1 of this Mastering Your Money Mindset, you're going to change your money blueprint. The learning objective is going to be to give yourself a money reset and story you'll love. So you're going to cover stories that we sell ourselves and why we do this even though it hurts, unique money stories, and what you can do to change and empower your action. We dive into part 2 where we want to remove your money stress. So get rid of all those conditions and habits that stop you from reaching your financial goals, and what you can do about your bad luck syndrome and naming and nixing common bad financial habits. Okay, we jump into part 3 where we diminish your money blocks to find the most effective block busting techniques that work only for you, specifically for you, because everyone's is different. Block busting secret strategies I use and will teach you how to identify your personality type so you can tailor your block busting strategy. And then in part 4, create a money routine that excites and rewards you, and the importance of small changes and tweaks and why they can generate big results, and 6-way to journal for those who hate to do so, and financial foolproofing, how to lay a solid groundwork and what you can change and what you can't. Now, it's important to know that you're going to change your negative money story to a new one, empowered, and one that works. You're going to identify your money blocks and learn how to shift them, learn different methods of block shifting, that resonates with your experience, belief, and preferences. Embrace your unique personality type and play it to its strengths. Find out what top realtors are doing to manifest money and how they shift their own blocks. Refrain from negative self messages and habits into powerful, positive ones, and put the fun into money while seeing the exciting results. Now, folks, again, it's now gone from $397 to the group used to be $197, but for a limited time promotion, we are at $97. That's the investment. Go ahead and register at nataliecousins.com/mymm. And so if you do that, then you are registering, and registration is open now. So you want to go to the website and register as quickly as possible, because it may go back up to $197 at the end of the month or the month thereafter. So some of the questions that were coming into the chat, and I'll take a look at other ones, but someone asked, how quickly will they see results? So I want to say that results are going to vary and are different with everyone. I can say that if you're going to put in the time, the work, and the dedication, you're going to see results sooner than later. There are some who would like to think that it's going to happen immediately an hour after finishing the program. But in actuality, there's a lot of work and reframing that needs to be done. And I think 21 days is how to kick a habit and see what happens from there. So let's look at the next question here. So someone is asking, why is the course 4 weeks? All right, so it is a masterclass. When registering, you do have the option of taking all 4 modules at one time and cramming it in, and that just gets a little bit overwhelming. So I broke the course down into 4 parts, which can be 4 weeks. You can do it at your own pace. You can do it when I'm there. But the fact of the matter is it's broken down into 4 parts, 4 weeks for self-study so that you can take your time with it. But again, we meet live for the 4 weeks, and it's a live environment. So it could be that you just get caught up, and I believe that in order for you to reframe and for you to be able to work, and for this to be able to work, you need the weeks to put in the time and the dedication. I don't want to overwhelm anyone by throwing it into just a 1-day 4-hour class for mindset work, right? So that's why I broke it down. All right, so someone else is asking, what was your biggest money block challenge? All right, so I want to feel like mine's was probably that I was thinking that I had bad money management. And in fact, I learned that I had excellent money management because I managed to go 15 years without owning a credit card. So I still don't have a traditional credit card to this day. It was just more of me always thinking negatively, or me always thinking as soon as I have money, it gets taken away, and so on and so forth. So I had to reposition my mind and reposition my thinking. And also I had to relook at what I wanted the money for, right? In the beginning, when you start, you just figure out, all right, I'm going to be a real estate agent, and I want to sell X amount of houses and make X amount of dollars. But in reality, you have to look at your expenses and look at your life, look at where you want your life to be, how many vacations are you going to take, and so on and so forth. And once you look at the life you want and the current life you have and what you're going to do in between to get where you want to go, that's where the manifestation starts coming in, because then you're able to put your mind to your condition and how you're going to work at your goals in order for it to manifest. And so without knowing where you're coming from and where you're going, it's going to be hard to attain your dreams. And I want to say that it's like, I do a lot of road trips, and it's like taking a road trip. You cannot want to put the navigation on en route if you don't have a starting point and an end point, right? You can't get from here to there unless you know mentally and by memory how to get there and how to drive without navigation. You still need a start point and an end point. Who gets into a car and just goes on Route 66 and doesn't know where they're going, right? It's not normal. All right, so let's take a look here. So we'll pause on the questions. I have a question for you actually. What's actually stopping you from creating a system that eliminates problems and recurring energy drains and builds your reputation and makes you enjoy getting up every day and doing what you love in the morning? That's really my question for you. Okay? Because Mastering Your Money Mindset, the masterclass, is a program that answers the question to all of your financial problems in the beginning in terms of mentally figuring out where you want to be. And I think that if you're stagnant in your business, all right, and you're feeling complacent or mediocre and you can't pass a certain income bracket, you got to register for this mastermind to get the results. It's a $97 investment. It is a $97 investment that will take you lifelong, because as soon as you start to feel a certain way again about your money, you can come back and reprogram your mind for this. So again, guys, it's an ongoing start dates. It's a weekly online training. You register, you get instant access to the class, and I go live weekly. The bonus of this program is that on the 5th week, you actually get a one-on-one with me to map out your financial goals and get you back on the right track. So go to the website, go ahead and register for the $97 limited time only, nataliecousins.com/mymm. Again, my name is Natalie Cousins. You can also contact me or email me if you have any questions, info@nataliecousins.com. And thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in the masterclass. Bye, guys.